Hello. Hi, friends. Just going live. Of course, giving folks a moment to join. It's always a little weird when you go live and nobody's yet here. Well, good. We're here now. I'm so glad to see you all. I missed yesterday. I've been doing a 90-day commitment to going live, to sharing sort of lessons and anything that I've learned that I feel like could be helpful for anybody looking to earn more and live better. But had a doctor's appointment that I needed to go to yesterday. Allison Chapel-Rabinowitz in the house. We are getting some amazing folks. We have a treat for you all in the coming weeks. So you know how you've just been hearing me talk for the last few weeks every day? No more me. I'm going to be inviting different coaches on every day, Monday through Thursday. And then I'll do my own lesson on Friday. But Monday through Thursday, I'm going to be featuring a different person who specializes in helping women earn more and live better. And there's, of course, many ways to approach that. And I want to, shine a light on these great women and the work that they do to get money into their pockets. Hello, ladies get paid. But also what they have to teach. Let's democratize it. Let's bring it to more folks. So stay tuned for that. But today's lesson, my dear friends, today's lesson is about making change when it comes to your money, which I guess, the word change sort of double entendre there. But if there's a certain kind of, oh my goodness, last time we chatted, I had blue hair. Now I have a baby. Yeah. Yeah. Well, last time we chatted, I was married to a man and now I'm married to a woman. So there you go. By the way, as always, if you're wondering why my eyes are going back and forth, it's because I'm simultaneously on Instagram and LinkedIn. But so anyway, we're going to be talking about if there is something that you are just kind of frustrated with when it comes to how you interact with money. There's a certain kind of behavior that you would like to see from yourself, but you were just having a really difficult time actually following through on that kind of behavioral change. First of all, if you've read James Clear, Atomic Habits, super helpful. I want to take that book and apply it to money and figure out how we can form better habits around money, starting with your relationship with it, of course, right? And I'll begin with an example of my own. So I knew for years that I needed to be investing my money. Because, if you put it in a mutual fund over time, there's a thing called compound interest, which is a fancy way of saying free money. Okay. Over time. And it's not risky. Mutual funds are not risky. However, I, for so many years, felt like I could not afford to invest in a mutual fund. I was very much stuck in the scarcity mindset of years past when I truly didn't have enough money, I could barely pay my bills, let alone, invest in the future. But my bank account and my mindset were no longer aligned. My bank account had made progress, but my relationship with it hadn't. And in a previous live, I think I've gone more into detail about digging into your mindsets around money and improving your relationship with it. So I encourage you to check out those other videos. But for today, we're going to be talking about very, very specific behavioral change, ways to break it down when there is a goal that you have with your money, but you just are not making the steps towards that goal. Let's figure out how to do that. And the first thing I want to say here is just get organized with yourself. So maybe take a little bit of time and brainstorm all the behaviors around money that you in an ideal world would like to change. Okay. And it could be anything from, gosh, I know I'm not checking my bank account, right? Like you were avoiding talking about money or looking at money, or maybe there's some, outstanding invoices that haven't been paid yet, right? That's a big thing. So maybe a behavior change that you want is to get better at doing the follow-up and collecting the money that's owed to you. Maybe the behavior change is asking for more money. That could be it. Maybe it's curbing impulse spending, right? If you find that you're doing a lot of the online shopping or, or emotional spending, or anyway, you'll figure it out for yourself, but you make that list of all the things that you would like to change when it comes to money. Now, before we get into how to make the change, let's dig in. Oh, I'm seeing some familiar faces. Good to see you, Teresa. Before you dig into making the change, let's get to the core of why you want to make the change. Like, what would be improved in your life if you made this kind of change when it comes to your money? What are all the amazing things that can happen if you were to make this change? Now, on the other side, what are all the consequences of not making this change? So for those who are new or just joining, we're talking specifically about making change when it comes to your money. Okay. So changing behaviors that are deeply entrenched in the way that you interact with money, whether it's not saving, impulse spending, not asking for money, not following up on money that's owed to you, right? Maybe it's investing. Okay. Maybe it's emotional purchasing, maybe it's gambling, like no shame. We all have baggage around money. We just do. It's so rare that one doesn't. Okay, so you've really mapped out what you want to change, the consequences of not changing, and the amazing things that you can get from changing. Peace of mind, first and foremost, right? Probably like the emotional release and relief of making that change, the pride that you'll feel. And of course, the actual money that you'll probably get, right? If you are investing your money or asking for more, you'll be wealthier. And so go even beyond you. What are the generational consequences of making this change? So, in you increasing your paycheck, you investing your money, get specific with yourself over the years. How will this compound and what will this do for your family? Okay. This goes bigger than you. Or even imagining if you made more money and then you decided you wanted to give some to charity, think about all the people that you'll impact through that. The more specific you can get with visualizing this, the chances are you're actually going to follow through on it. It makes it tangible so that this behavior change that you want to possibly make around money isn't just in your head, but you really are starting to roadmap out what it is that you want comes first. Now we'll get into the how do you get there. Now, there's this behavior you want to change. And let's say, and I'll give you some examples of my own. By the way, we are seeing some amazing women here. Oh, thank you for commenting. I usually feel guilty sticking to my rates when the contractor is saying they don't have much budget when I know they do. I'm not good at finding the right words to stand up for my rates. Oh, we have a long conversation to have around that, by the way. Hope you can come this Thursday. So that's tomorrow, May 4th at 2 p.m. Eastern. I'm hosting a free town hall specific to the guilt around raising our rates, any kind of emotional resistance to why it can sometimes be difficult to command our worth. In your case, here's a little piece of feedback for you and anybody else who's struggling to get a yes. Get creative. Get creative in the ask. So let me give you an example. If there is a company that is interested in potentially having me come and speak, and I tell them my rate and they say, we can't do that, I then say, what other departments have budget where what I'm doing can help serve them, right? So in your case, and you're saying that they have more money, right? Literally, you can ask them, how do we think more creatively? Like you're telling me you don't specifically have budget right now for this, but if we were to look more holistically at the entire company, at all the departments and everything you have going on, is there a way that we can get creative in getting me closer to what I've asked for, right? And then you put it back on them. Payment plans, right? Full compensation, things other than money. What else can they give you that's of value to you? So don't let the no stop the conversation. Just look at it as a pivot point to be more creative in the way that you explore this, right? So give them some suggestions, but then turn it around on them. But let's get back to behaviors you want to change and the first steps to take towards actually following through on that change. So let me tell you the 4 that I identified for myself. I was afraid to invest. I tended to overspend. I was never checking my bank account, and I was never talking about money. This was obviously a while ago. Okay. Now, getting to the core of why it is that you think you are not following through on this, or why it is you think you are doing this. So this fear to invest, what is like the deep-seated anxiety beneath it? And for me, it was fear that I didn't have enough money. It was too risky. Okay. I felt stupid. I didn't know where to start. Right. I became overwhelmed when I was doing research. Like there's a lot of, you're going to start getting overwhelmed, I think, when you start listing this stuff out. But instead of being overwhelmed, look at it as opportunities that you can explore. So yeah, shit is overwhelming and I don't know who to trust. Well, a next step from that is make a short list of which blogs or people speak to me the most, or put on my LinkedIn, hey, I'm looking for finance, personal finance resources. Who do you suggest, right? Go to the people that you do trust to make the recommendations for the resources that they use, right? So again, in every time that you list out all the things that are holding you back, then now they are the vision for what you can do to rectify it moving forward. It's too risky, right? Well, Then I need to do some more research on mutual funds. How risky is it? Because how I feel is valid, but it's not factual. Okay? Feelings are not facts. I'm going to say that one more time. Feelings are valid, but feelings are not factuals. Factual. God, can't even speak. Okay? So, when I really did my research into mutual funds, turns out they weren't as risky as I thought. And the risk mindset I had was from childhood, and I clearly needed to work on that shit in therapy. Okay? Next step, though. What is the one micro action step you can take as it relates to the change that you want to make? And so don't do a bunch of stuff at once. It isn't like, all right, I'm going to go from never investing because I don't know anything about it and I'm scared of it to now I'm a guru. Like, no, it was just familiarizing myself with resources. One step, you put that shit on the calendar. Okay. To me, if things are not on my calendar, they don't exist. So you have to say, okay, in 5 days from now, so be reasonable and realistic with yourself, but also push yourself. So in 5 days from now, I'm going to come up with 5 resources that I can use to do more research on the riskiness of mutual funds. Once I have done that, I'm going to set the next goal for myself. Okay, in 5 days from there or 7 days from there, I'm going to allocate $100 to picking one fund, right? And to hold myself accountable, because that's the next step, I'm going to post about this online. I'm going to share with people this is what I'm doing. Okay, so I know this is going to take you time, and I'm a broken record in a lot of my lives, but I just think the organization up front in mapping out your goals and the accountability that's going to be built into actually achieving those goals, better to spend way more time up front getting this stuff mapped out so that you can just go into autopilot and that your days are spent, in the moment, being present, not thinking of your to-do list, not coming up with your to-do lists. Like, it's been set. Overspending. Okay. That was my next one. The behavior I wanted to change when it came to money. All right. First of all, when was this happening? Mostly impulse buys from Facebook and Instagram ads. I want to get really specific here. Okay. Impulse buys. And when would this happen? Oftentimes at night. And then the consequences of it, well, ending up with stuff I don't want, returning things as a time suck and energy suck, less money for my real goals, saving, investing, things that are aligned with my values, right? I didn't want to feel out of control, right? These are not great consequences. What's the action step? Well, before I purchase, well, first of all, I wanted to make it easier for myself. If most of my impulse buys are at night on my phone, let's get my phone out of my room. Don't even have it near me. Then the next action step would be, and I would challenge myself to do that for a couple of days. Or before I make a purchase, am I feeling hungry, anxious, lonely, or tired? Or now I just put in Amazon, I save for later or put it in my cart. And then I challenge myself to see how long I can go without buying that item. And if I still really want it, I buy it. But again, I didn't get to this point just by one day waking up and changing my behavior because I simply wanted to. It required a complete re-navigating and recalibration, starting with, when is this actually happening, right? I wouldn't have figured out to remove that the phone at night was the culprit unless I analyzed, when am I actually making these impulse buys? So just in recapping, behavior you want to change, the consequences of not changing, the rewards of changing, get to the triggers of it. So that normally is the beliefs you have around it, or an event or certain environment that tends to trigger this behavior or non-behavior. One step you can take, you put it on the calendar and you hold yourself accountable. Speaking of holding you accountable, that's always me. That's us. Ladies Get Paid. So I would love for you to join our network. It's free, though there is an option to upgrade for access to our entire video library. Just go to ladiesgetpaid.com. But again, remember, tomorrow, Thursday, May 4th, at 2 p.m. Eastern, town hall, free town hall. We've got over 300 people RSVP'd who are going to be sharing about how they've worked through any kind of emotional resistance to charging more. Because at the end of the day, I've said this before, at the end of the day, I don't think it's so much about the research you do or the information you receive, but rather how you feel about the research. Because you could find out that you need to be charging a lot more. Great, market research is awesome. But are you going to follow through? Will you stand up for it? What's holding you back? Let's talk about it tomorrow. You can also follow me on Instagram at Claire Gets Paid. I will see you lovelies tomorrow at the town hall and live. And then starting next week, we're going to be having coaches on here, coaches of all kinds, helping you learn how to, manage your time better, manage your money, think bigger, anything and everything we can do to help you earn more and live better. That is our mission, and we are here for you. And in the meantime, you got this. Bye, all.